August 3, 1492. Three ships, the Santa Maria, the Pinta, and the Nina, leave the port of Palos de la Frontera, Spain. Their captain, Christopher Columbus, is convinced the Earth is smaller than every mathematician says it is. He believes Japan is 3,000 miles west of Spain. It is actually 12,000. He is sailing into an error that will accidentally change the world. On the morning of August 7, 4 days into the voyage, the ship's boy on the Santa Maria finds something wedged between two barrels in the cargo hold. A yellow plastic rectangle. Waterproof. Rubber-edged. With a small glass screen displaying a map. Not a drawn map. A living map. With a blinking arrow showing their exact position in the Atlantic Ocean. The screen says, Garmin eTrex 32X. Satellite signal acquired. Columbus takes the device within the hour. He is a navigator. He knows charts, compasses, astrolabes. He has spent years staring at maps and arguing with scholars. And the moment he sees the GPS screen, sees his three ships as three tiny dots on a blue ocean that extends far, far beyond where he said it would, he understands two things. First, the Earth is much bigger than he claimed. Second, no one must ever know he was wrong. He locks the GPS in his personal chest. At night, alone, he studies it. He learns to zoom. To scroll. To read the distance calculations. The numbers are in a system he does not recognize, kilometers, but the proportions are clear. The ocean ahead is vast. And on the far side, there is land. Not Japan. Not India. Something else entirely. Something the GPS labels with a word he has never seen, America. He adjusts his public navigation accordingly. By day, he uses the compass and the stars for the crew's benefit. By night, he checks the GPS to correct his course. The crew notices that the captain's navigation has become eerily precise. No second guessing. No debates over latitude. He simply knows where they are. Always. Some of the sailors begin to whisper that Columbus is hearing the voice of God. But on October 2, something happens that Columbus does not expect. The GPS recalculates. The route he has been following, due west toward the Caribbean, shifts. A new line appears on the screen. Thinner. Longer. Curving south and then further west. The device has found a faster route, adjusted for ocean currents and wind patterns. It is rerouting him. Away from the Caribbean. Towards something much further away. Columbus follows the GPS. He does not question it. He has spent weeks watching this device be right about everything: tides, distances, the position of islands no European has ever charted. If the yellow oracle says go south, he goes south. The crew is confused. The Pinzon brothers on the other ships are furious. But Columbus has a secret the size of a continent. And he intends to find it. The journey stretches. 5 weeks become 7. 7 become 10. The crew mutinies twice. Columbus quells both uprisings by showing them the compass heading and promising land within days. He is lying about the days. But he is not lying about the land. The GPS shows it getting closer. 700 miles. 400. 200. The battery reads 31%. On November 29, 1492, nearly 4 months after leaving Spain, a sailor on the Pinta screams a single word: tierra. Land. But this is not the white sand of the Bahamas. This is not the Caribbean. The coastline ahead is red. Flat. Endless. Shimmering under a sun more brutal than anything these Spaniards have ever felt. The GPS displays a label none of them can pronounce: Australia. Columbus steps ashore on a beach near what will one day be called Darwin. He plants the flag of Castile in red sand. He claims the land for Ferdinand and Isabella. And he has no idea, none whatsoever, that he has just skipped an entire continent. North America, South America, the Caribbean, the entire Western Hemisphere bypassed. The GPS sent him to the antipodes. The bottom of the world. The indigenous Australians watch from the tree line. They have been here for 65,000 years. They have survived ice ages, megafauna, and the longest continuous occupation of any land on Earth. They see 3 wooden ships and men in metal clothes stumbling through heat they are not built for. They do not know it yet, but the clock has started. Columbus spends 3 weeks mapping the coast. The GPS helps, it shows him bays, rivers, inlets that would take years to find by sail alone. He charts more of Australia in 20 days than Cook will chart in our timeline in 3 voyages. He names everything in Spanish. Puerto del Sol. Rio de la Serpiente. Bahia de la Reina. Names that will stick for centuries. Aboriginal names for the same places will be forgotten in decades. The battery dies on the return voyage. 19% crossing the Indian Ocean. 8% rounding the Cape of Africa. 0 somewhere in the South Atlantic. Columbus wraps the dead device in silk and places it in a locked iron box. When he arrives in Barcelona, he presents the box to the Queen alongside his charts, his samples, and his report. He tells Isabella the device was a holy compass, gifted by an angel. She does not open the box. She does not need to. The charts are enough. Spain pivots east. Forget the western route, Australia is closer going around Africa. Within a decade, a permanent colony is established on the northern coast. Gold is not found, but something better is, space. Endless space. Spain sends its surplus population, its criminals, its dreamers. Australia becomes New Castile. And the Americas remain undiscovered for another 40 years. When North America is finally reached by a Portuguese expedition in 1534, the power dynamics have already calcified. Spain owns Australia, Indonesia, and half of India. Portugal gets the Americas. England and France, arriving late, fight over the scraps. The entire colonial map of our world, the one that produced the United States, Brazil, Canada, is redrawn. None of those nations ever exist. The Aboriginal Australians face the Spanish instead of the British. And the Spanish arrived 250 years earlier. There is number 1788. There is no convict fleet. Instead, there are Franciscan missions in 1510. Forced conversion. Forced labor. Diseases that cross oceans faster than ships. The 65,000-year civilization begins to fracture within a generation of Columbus's landing. Without English colonization of North America, the Enlightenment ideas that produced the American Revolution never find a testing ground. Democracy does not get its prototype. The concept of a nation built on individual rights, flawed as it was in practice, is never proven at scale. The 18th century produces no United States. The 19th produces no model for democratic revolution. The dominoes never fall. And in a cathedral vault in Barcelona, sealed since 1493, opened by scholars in 2003, sits a yellow plastic rectangle. Garmin eTrex 32X. Battery dead. Screen cracked. Memory still intact. When technicians power it up with a modern cable, the last recorded route loads on the screen: Palos, Spain to Darwin, Australia. Departure, August 3, 1492. Arrival, November 29, 1492. The route makes no sense. No sailor in 1492 would have gone south around Africa to reach a continent no European knew existed. Unless someone or something told him exactly where to go. The device is classified. The discovery is sealed. And in the margins of Columbus's own journal, found in the same vault, a single line in shaking handwriting: La caja amarilla sabe más que Dios. The yellow box knows more than God. A recalculation. That is all it was. A GPS doing what GPS devices do, finding the optimal route based on data the user does not have. Columbus asked for India. The machine gave him Australia. And with that single reroute, the entire architecture of the modern world, every border, every nation, every war fought over colonial territory, was redrawn by an algorithm that optimized for distance and did not account for history. Chrono drop.